Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now. Here we are live from my home office with someone you've met before, Dez, and you can find him on Twitter, Ask Dez. He is a senior product manager at T-Mobile, the person who helped me try Google Glass for the first time. That was exciting.
That was tons of fun.
I enjoyed it.
I think we'll have lots more first. Lots of fun technology things to play with.
Well, and that's why I was excited when you told me that you had a Moto X right here, and we're going to talk through the experience of the Moto X, and I've had a chance to play with it very briefly, and we're going to go into some of the details about the Moto X, certainly things that differentiate it from other Android devices or just devices in general. Before I do go any further, though, let me first explain to you that this Nexus 7, this new Nexus 7, was given away. Well, not this physical one, I guess, but a copy of it, an exact copy of it, thanks to our sponsor, go.tagjag.com/free points. You asked who won, and I had written this down and mentioned it earlier this week. Bartol Babik. He will be receiving his Nexus 7. So here's the deal. If you want to do a hardware giveaway every week, you can. You can participate. So head over to go.tagjag.com/free points. The link should be in this video's description. If not now, then by the time you look, that should be there. Then use that on your iOS or Android device. Download a sponsored app. And every week, I'm going to choose one of you, so long as you've downloaded a sponsored app, you've made a comment in this live video that includes your referral code and which sponsored app you've downloaded through that particular free, well, it's go.tagjag.com/free points. And I guess what the sponsors agreed to is we'll do up to a $400 giveaway. So you can choose one product on Amazon, and whoever gets it, you can decide what you would spend $400 on for one product on Amazon.com. Thanks again to that sponsor. And as long as people are using his app, he will continue to do hardware giveaways. I've detailed the full instructions on a post on Facebook, and we'll also include that in this video's description. So the Nexus 7 was given away this week, and we'll see what happens next week. So get to commenting, sharing, participating, and hopefully you like the fact that we're doing this kind of stuff for you. All right.
Should I comment now, or
you can, if you want, you can participate. I mean, it's easy. The push notification should have gone out. The free Locker Gnome app for iOS and Android, when you use it and you tap the push notification, it'll open up the video that we're teasing out, and we do that for live streams as well as regular videos that we do on YouTube. So without further ado, the star of the show, the real star of the show, a Moto X. It's very light. It's tapered very nicely as well. Feels nice.
It actually feels really good in the hand.
Smooth.
Right? Yeah.
Not slick, but smooth.
So this one is, I think
Soft.
they refer to this one technically as black with texture. There's also a black matte that doesn't have like this little carbon texture on the back.
And that is really, to me, the one of the things that differentiates the Moto X from other products out there is the customization.
Sure. So they have, it's only available for one particular carrier at this time, but you can imagine that should be available for more carriers sometime in the future, but they call it the Moto Maker. And you can go and you can customize the front plate, so you can get black front plate, white front plate. You can flip it around. You customize the back with something like 36, 38 different colors and textures. I saw there's natural wood. I was like, oh, I want that, right? I think it's coming soon. It's not quite out yet, but tons of different colors. You can customize the color ring around the camera. You can customize the button colors. So all these different combinations together end up to something like 2,000 different variations of the phone. You can do memory configuration, and a really cool one, which I haven't seen yet. You know, we always talk about the outside. You can do boot up animation customization. So if you got it for Diana, every morning it could say, "Good morning, Diana," in the boot up animation. So every time she turns on her phone, she gets to see a cool little personalized animation.
You know, the funny thing about that is I remember doing that with Windows 95, changing boot screens. I'm not gonna throw anything on here. I'm looking at pictures right now.
No, go ahead.
Okay. I wasn't sure if
I think it's mostly my walking lunchtime running inspirational pictures.
Well, the reason why I pulled that up is because yesterday on my Facebook page I asked, "Hey, how would you guys, do you have any questions?" And Nicholas Franco Fortino asked, "Is the camera quality any good?"
Yeah. So let's look at one. I'll show you one that I took.
Go ahead. Pull it up.
We'll go get a really good one here. So a couple nights ago, we went over to our friend's house, actually up in North Bend, and we had blue crabs from Maryland.
Ooh.
And I don't know if these guys can see it. You might have to,
Yeah,
showcase that little guy.
come on a
Get
little
in nice and
closer.
close.
And the color accuracy on the live feed does not reflect the color
Sure.
accuracy on the screen. I just want
But
to
I mean,
point
you can
that
see,
out.
take a look at that little guy for yourself. Maybe pinch, zoom in, zoom out. You can see, I mean, those little guys
The level of detail.
look awesome. So it's a 10 megapixel
Wow.
camera. Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful, right?
Yes, it is. And here's what's striking. And many people in this channel know
And
that-
yes, we ate this little monster.
Wait, the shell too?
We had, oh, no.
So I immediately wanted to compare it to Google's, well, I don't know if you would call the Moto X a flagship device, since it seems to be geared towards more average users, and the Nexus 4 seemed to be geared more towards developer type of users.
I think so. I think the difference, and our friends at Motorola have done a lot of marketing speak with us to talk about this, but I think one of the things you'll really find is Moto X is a really great experiential device.
The Moto X.
It's not this overwhelming spec device, but they've done a lot of tuning, if you will. It's got a Qualcomm dual core processor, 1.7 gigahertz crate. It's got an Adreno GPU in it, and they've done a lot of tuning with the software to make the experience really fluid and really fast with that dual core processor. The screen has been optimized, the type of panel they use to help save battery and give you great brightness. And then we've got some cool features in there that Moto sprinkled in, but it's not this overwhelming, complete UI overall. It's very much like a Nexus. It's very much like a vanilla device with some goodness sprinkled in to make the experience a little better. Whereas if this Nexus, like you and I both love the Nexus, right?
Yes.
It's kind of like a race car. You ripped out the leather seats, you took out the stereo, and you put in a roll cage and racing seats. This has got a little bit more of those creature comforts for kind of the everyday user. It's comfortable in hand. It's got a great screen. It's got a good weight. You can customize it. You can go online and make it your own, if you will, or just buy one from moto.com. They work on T-Mobile's network. But I use a lot of phones, right? That's my job. And so HTC One Google Play Store Edition, GS4. We've been in here with Note 2. We've talked about a lot of these devices. And I find myself constantly going back to Moto X as just a fun phone to use every day. Great camera, really snappy, really fast, great screen, and just great battery life.
Yeah, it feels slimmer than I had the notification screen. I liked one of your photos on Instagram, and on the notification that there was
Did it do a
like
little
there
pulse?
was a little pulsing. Now I can't get back to it.
Oh, once we put it, we'll have to do
Get
another
it
one.
out. Okay,
You'll have to go like
I'll like another one of your photos
Chris
here.
is gonna go like a photo
All right,
real quick.
I've liked another photo.
Okay, we're gonna let it
so
go.
this
to
is
sleep.
just one of those slight customizations on stock Android, because I thought
Sure.
this is, for all intents and purposes, it feels like the Nexus 4 in terms of software, in terms of feel in the hand. The back is curved, but you can set it on the table and it doesn't rock as much as the HTC One does. And it feels nice, feels compact,
feels great.
slim. It's responsive. I wouldn't go as far as to say
I'm gonna let
is.
it catch up with us here.
Okay. Do I have to like another one of your photos? I'll just keep liking your photos. It's a
Good
scam.
ask Des, like the photos, and you will see the active notification.
So the Nexus 4, someone just asked, Harry Cohen asked, compared to the Nexus 4. The Nexus 4, as Des pointed out, it's got a quad-core processor, but the camera's not as...
8 megapixel camera.
Yeah, so the camera on the Nexus 4 was okay, but I don't think it ever took
I think it's a
pictures
little,
as sharp.
I think Moto
as
X
sharp
is
as
just
the
a
Moto
little
X.
bit better.
Yeah.
It's got a slightly larger sensor, if I'm correct. I got to go back and look at my specs again. But
Certainly.
It's 10 megapixels, of course. It kind of takes from the HTC One school of thought, where do something different with your pixels. Rather, they have ultra pixels. These guys have a clear pixel camera. And what you get is you just get better low light performance, seems to be better color representation. It's 10 megs versus 8. They both of them are 720p screens. So did it ever come back?
Yeah, but it just seems it seems less bulky, honestly.
Yeah.
The Moto X seems less bulky than the Nexus 4.
Yeah,
Less blocky.
Yeah, slightly different construction. That might be the best way to put it.
Okay, well.
Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
not
When
saying
you say
there's a
block,
preference.
no. When you say blocky, though, you're right. This one's definitely a little bit more of a boxy shape.
Yep.
It's not curved. It's a flat glass back,
Which is nice.
Whereas these guys are curved. It's got the soft touch paint on it, right?
I like that it's how would you explain, like tapered on the back, so it's kind of
yeah.
curved, but it doesn't rock. And I had that issue kind of with the HTC One. Is just rock. You
Sure.
can't do that with the Moto X, at least not as dramatically as you might on the HTC One. I'm sorry.
Did we ever get an active notification?
If I don't know if we did, but if I transposed those device names, I apologize. I'm doing my best to produce everything and direct everything. Let me check to see if there are any other questions. Is it worth trading in my iPhone 4S for it?
So I'm going to jump in there because
Okay.
I know you're the iPhone fan.
Well,
So I feel like Moto X is a very close representation of what an iPhone-like experience is from Android. It's really well optimized. It's really good in-hand feel. It's not an overwhelming device, right? It's smaller. I mean, so, I'm a Note 2 guy, right? So a lot of people are like, what's that little toy phone you're playing with, right? And I'm like, it's still a 4.7-inch screen, and it feels really good in hand. I would say that Moto X, to me, is similar in terms of how iPhone has been optimized for the software and hardware. Moto X has been optimized software and hardware, and it's just a really nice everyday user device.
And I think that's the point.
Yeah.
Is that they're not gearing this, or haven't geared it at least, towards the power user.
Sure.
Just the average user. What do they need? What are they looking for? If
Right.
they think Android, which phone should I get? Because you've got the HTC One, you've got the Galaxy S4, you got the Nexus 4, you got the Moto X. I mean, but having choice
Sure.
is really what it's about. And I mean, that's really the power of the Android ecosystem.
Yeah. I've been recommending Moto X to a lot of like friends of the family and things like that. Oh, I want to get an Android phone. When they say when they're specifically into Android, I go, you might really like this. It's available from all 4 carriers. Like I said, it's certified for use on T-Mobile's network, and we'll have price and availability coming soon, a little later this month. But it's just a really good device to use.
And I think this is exactly the question that was asked by Matthew Jackson. Is it an Android phone, a noob iPhone user like my mom could use? I really don't care to help her with her iPhone any more than I have to. So that's...
Andrew, you will always have to help your mom with an Android phone a little bit, but maybe this one a little bit less.
So the bigger issue is some people are just all about the hardware, and some people are all about the software, and some people are all about the experience. You're never going to have one perfect thing for everybody. It's impossible. That's the biggest challenge, I think, though. Moving from iPhone to Android, I'm always aware of my limitations as well as my freedoms.
Sure.
On either platform, whether it's interoperability with software or other devices. And that's the thing you really have to consider. It's not as simple as, I'm done with the iPhone, I'm ready to move on. Well, if you have other devices in your house, like I was, playing with a Chromecast yesterday, it seemed it worked with Google Chrome, it worked with Google Apps on iOS. I had some issues with setup, but that's something that I don't necessarily worry about with Apple devices interoperating with other Apple devices. So Google's taking a completely different approach, almost they're taking like a horizontal approach to the marketplace versus Apple taking a vertical approach to the marketplace. So
there we got one.
Yay! Okay, great. Okay. So we got a notification. Took long enough.
So we got a notification, and as you can see, it kind of wakes and goes to sleep. And if I touch it, you can see I go in and someone else has liked a photo, so we can see we've got I'm going to try to, does that look okay, Chris?
Yeah,
I've got the unlock if I swipe down, and I've got the actual Instagram if I swipe up. So if I swipe up from there, I drop right into the app, and I go to Instagram, and we get someone liking one of my posts. So thank you very much.
Yeah, ask Des on Instagram, DES, by the way. That's how you spell Des.
But I mean, look at this screen. So we were talking about, right? So we got our active notification. The cool thing about an active notification...
You can get closer. I mean, they can get right there. Yep.
The cool thing about the active notifications is a lot of devices only have a little blinking light. Well, the active notification gives you, an icon indicator that, hey, something has happened. You can see, oh, that's like we said, it's an Instagram indicator, or it's a Facebook notification, or, Twitter, or it's a text message, or Twitter. Well, then you can get a short preview by touching the screen of what it is, and if you want to take action on it, you just drag up and drop right into the app, which is cool. I think you're a little quicker. Same thing holds true for if you shake the device, we drop right into camera mode.
There's...
And I swear I never shake it right the first time, so there you go.
There is a free app available called Twisty Launcher that you can run on other Android devices. It's the same thing. They released it.
Probably in response to Moto X.
Exactly. So if you want to have the same type of shaky experience, you can get that.
Do you have
Twisty
to launch
Launcher.
the app and then it's always running in the background?
I don't yet know. I just got it last night for free. Why not? Google Play, install it, easy peasy.
All right.
So we want to keep answering questions. Compare it with the vanilla experience of the Nexus 4. We've talked around this. This was asked by Ardia Bat and liked by 2 people.
Okay.
And by the way, before this video was live, we had 60 likes.
Nice.
So and 2 dislikes. I don't know who they were.
They don't like either me or you or us together.
Or anything. Maybe they have a miserable life. So yes, in terms of comparing it to vanilla experience,
almost the same.
You would have to tell me
I can
that
do
it wasn't.
I can do it in 3 easy steps. So camera experience has been slightly upgraded.
And you can come
if I come up to here and I drag from this side, you see I can get to the wheel, sensor wheel.
Yep.
If I drag the other way, this is pretty much a stock Android type experience. So minor changes to the camera, the active notifications, and then probably my favorite, Moto Assist. You go into Moto Assist and you can set up for driving mode, for meeting, and for sleeping. So driving mode, it will actually use the sensors of the device, realize through accelerometer and some other things that the device is moving, and put your phone into a silent mode or a read out loud. So you can choose what you want it to do. You can say, hey, I'm in the car, read incoming, announcing that Chris Pirillo's calling now, right? And so it goes into kind of a speaking mode. Or it can actually send messages back if you're a safe driver, right? And say, it sends back a message that says, I'm sorry, Desmond's driving right now. Please try again later.
Smart.
Same thing with meeting mode. When you're in a meeting, it looks at the calendar information and says, oh, he's in a meeting. Puts the phone into silent, except for favorites. So like if my wife calls me, it'll ring through for her. And then, of course, sleep mode, pretty simple. Time of day, you say at 11 p.m. to 5 a.m., go back to sleep, and it just goes into silent mode, except for those favorite people again.
It would surprise me if...
So here, they're right next to each other now.
If you did not have a difficult time choosing between the Nexus 4 and the Moto X, I'd be shocked because they're
both,
compelling.
So.
That's good.
Yeah,
but I mean, they're similar.
Very similar.
But similar but different, right?
Yeah.
It just depends on what you want. And I think, I haven't had a chance to really effectively use the Moto X. This is really my first impressions, first look. But, given my experience with the Nexus 4 and just how close the Moto X is to a Nexus 4, with slight modifications, it could very well be another type of Android device that I would probably recommend. And certainly.
So I got one last one for you. Now let's compare this. Put both phones down.
Yeah.
Put them both to sleep.
All right.
Okay, Google now. Okay, Moto X woke up and is waiting for me to say something. Let's try it again. I just want to give the Nexus a chance because I love my Nexus, right?
Right.
Okay, Google now. Call Chris Pirillo. Oh, it's going to call.
I found 2 matches. Say call after the name.
So, sorry.
But that's okay.
You get the idea.
I get the idea, and I like that. The fact that you can be hands-free.
Completely hands-free.
And talk to it, it immediately wakes up.
Sure.
Now, can you customize that? Okay, so I don't want someone else to know my...
So the interesting thing is, I wanted to go, okay, computer.
Right.
And totally Star Trek it out.
Right.
But it won't let me do a different wake-up command, but it trains on my voice. So I bet if you try it, it actually won't wake up.
So what's the command?
It's, okay, Google now.
Okay. Can I hold the phone up?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. We'll see. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I bet it won't do it.
Okay, Google now. Oh, it didn't do it.
Nope.
Okay, Google now. Hey, Google. Googly. Hello.
And we've got lots of active notifications going on.
Yeah, I saw that. A couple of... I think people are going in and liking your
Instagram
now that they know you.
Like,
I want to be on this thing. Thank you for bringing this over. I don't really see any other questions other than people noting smoothness, ergonomics, build quality, screen quality. It's a Motorola user experience. No, I wouldn't say it's a Motorola user experience. Honestly, it feels more like
vanilla Android.
Yeah, vanilla Android.
Pretty much. Yeah.
So
a couple minor tweaks again. The camera, the always listening mode, and then of course the Moto Assist.
But it's very consumer friendly.
Yes.
And that's who it's geared toward. That's who it's priced for. That's who
Yeah.
I want to get an Android. I've been using iPhone. I want to switch, or what do I go with?
Yeah.
I think it's a compelling option. I would be more inclined to push an average user to a Nexus 4 or a Moto X.
I think so.
Because of its positioning, more than I would to a flagship.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the difference too. I was going scanning the app. So the only other things that are special in here that Moto includes is of course Quick Office, which is a Google-owned property, and then Migrate right here, which is you're coming from another phone, plug in this, tell us what you came from, sucks all your data over your
very nice
your apps and your content and everything else.
That is extremely convenient, I would say. Battery life. Well, what about
Battery life is actually really good. I'd say almost, I'm a heavy user, close to 2 days. So it's
Wow.
very well optimized. I can get, so if I take it off the charger at 5:36 in the morning, full day's use, all night not on the charger, probably by lunchtime the next day I'm about dead, which is...
unlike Google Glass,
yeah.
which is about,
yeah. Chris asked where my Google Glass was, and I said it's at the office on the charger. It's always on the charger.
that's crazy. Google Now in the software buttons. Let's see here. Home. Yeah. Well,
So,
I can
yep,
pull up
drag
that-
up just
drag
like,
up just like in the
a
Nexus 4.
You got it.
So it's a very very compelling experience for Android, which I've been happy with the stock Android experience.
Sure.
I've learned over time, like I don't really like the modifications. I just prefer the base
Like a
core.
TouchWiz or a Sense or
No,
something.
it's not for me.
Yeah.
As a user, I just want to know that no additional fluff.
Yeah.
I just want the core experience.
I find that if I'm comparing some of these devices, I really like Moto X. I like the few small things Moto has sprinkled in here to make it a little better for customers, and I find the device is very comfortable. I love my GS4 Google Play Store edition. I actually like my HTC One, just the standard HTC One, because of the the boom sound.
Yes.
And of course the little camera tweaks they've done. I find that you lose some of that
You mean on the HTC One?
on the HTC One.
I didn't find the camera as
Oh, you haven't video highlights? You haven't played too much of video
it's
highlights?
kitschy. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
My wife loves video highlights. It's a cute little movie she can make with all the different pictures I've taken and put to music, right?
Someone has asked. I've got to be very careful here. Someone has asked about Google Maps performance on either one. How do I cancel out here?
Just back up.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
I wasn't sure if it was going to back me out to the home screen. So let me go ahead and it's trying to pull in the GPS. They were asking about Google Maps performance. In the new version of Google Maps, I don't find the performance on any device, iOS, Android, across the board. It seems to be dropping frames as you scroll around.
Well,
New
and
version.
I don't know. I'm not in love with new Google Maps for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I don't find it as easy to use. I'm not quite sure what has changed. Yeah, we're all,
It's okay. It's
It's
okay.
just okay.
Choice in the marketplace. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. I just wanted to
Sure.
try to address many of the questions. Someone asked if it has Android lag. If so, it's not as perceivable as I've seen it on other devices.
Sure.
And I have that's just not based on empirical evidence, just an initial gut check. It seems fluid. The question is, to me, would it be as fluid as what I've experienced in the Nexus 4? I just don't know yet. This is a raw demo, a first look, positive experiences. That's my general perception of it, at least at this point in time. And I think we've answered pretty much all of the questions. So, Des, I think we can go ahead and wrap her up and get you out of here on a Friday afternoon. Thank you, everybody, for commenting, liking, subscribing, sharing, doing these things that you normally do. Again, I got to remind you, the sponsor, link is in the video's description, go.tagjag.com/free points. You can earn free Amazon cards, free iTunes cards if you use iTunes, free gift cards, free apps. It's really easy to do, and it's free, and it's a sponsor that is going to be doing giveaways as long as you guys continue to use that application. Des is taking a snapshot of this moment. Is this going to get posted to your Instagram?
Yeah, we'll post it on Instagram.
Everybody smile. You can say you were there watching the live stream. Ask Des on Twitter and Instagram. That's how you find him. Anything else you'd like to say before taking off and enjoying your weekend?
Thanks for having me. We'll be back to play with some more devices in the coming weeks.
I like hearing that. Music to my ears. Thanks, everybody.